Welcome back, guys. So I have Kiara, Tadrus, Yahya Awad, Abdurrahman Baghdadi, Haya, Usama Darwish, and Yusuf Awad. How are you all?
Fine.
Yasin Saeed. Okay. In the first session, we did chapter 20, part 4, and now we're going to do part 5. It's just a page or two, and then we're going to do the last part of the novel, part 1. The last pages, again and again, I ask the online guys to read part 1. We did part 1. We are about to finish it. We still have just 6 pages. I posted the summary before of the prologue and part 1, and today I am going to post the analysis, something that helps you understand it better. You need to read the story, part 1. Okay, we have finished it, or we are going to finish it today. Today we're going to talk about misplaced and dangling modifiers. You know, modifiers can sometimes be put in the wrong place, and this causes some confusion. As a general rule, a modifier should be placed as close as possible to the word it modifies. If a modifier is misplaced, put in the wrong place, or left dangling in a sentence without a word to modify, sometimes the word it modifies is deleted or not mentioned, it will seem to modify the wrong word or no word at all. This section will examine both. Let's see. Misplaced modifiers. When a modifier is placed too far from the word it should modify, the meaning of the sentence can become unclear. A misplaced modifier seems to modify the wrong word in the sentence. Any phrase or clause that acts as an adjective or adverb can unintentionally be misplaced in a sentence. Let's see. George Washington borrowed money. George Washington borrowed money to attend his first inauguration. When a new president in the United States is elected, the celebration they hold for coronating him or is called inauguration. To start his job, to start his office, is called inauguration. So he borrowed money to attend his first inauguration, deep in debt. Here from this italicized part, we understand that the inauguration is deep in debt. Can the ceremony be in debt, guys? Of course not. Who is in debt? It's George Washington, okay? But this part is kept away from the word it modifies. So we should put deep in debt next to or as close as possible to George Washington. So we put it this way. The first inaugural ball was held, we'll see the answer later. The first inaugural, another example. Ball was held, ball here means party, as you know, was held in the New York State Assembly, attended by many foreign ministers. Attended, this italicized part. From this place, we can guess that it modified the word before it, assembly, but it modified the ball or the inaugural ball. In the first example, this is the explanation. The misplaced prepositional phrase, deeply or deep in debt, seems to modify inauguration because it comes after inauguration. The time it modifies George Washington. So it should be fixed this way. Deep in debt, George Washington borrowed money to attend his first inauguration. Deep in debt, so it modifies George Washington. It put very close to George Washington, okay? The other example, attended by many foreign ministers, the first inaugural ball was held in the New York State Assembly. Okay, this is how we fixed these two sentences. Again, by putting the dangling or misplaced modifier as close as possible to the word or the words it modifies. Here we have exercise 40, identifying and correcting misplaced modifiers. Rewrite each sentence correcting the misplaced modifiers. In each sentence, out of these 10 sentences, there is a misplaced modifier corrected. Look at the example. The president receives guests in the Blue Room during state dinners at the White House. Again, the president receives guests in the Blue Room during state dinners at the at the White House. It should be corrected this way. During state dinners.
مستر علي جزء ولا حضرتك اللي النت وحش فبيطلع.
No problem. Ask him to try to enter again and I'll accept him. If he can't, no problem. Okay. During state dinners, the president receives guests in the Blue House or in the Blue Room of the White House. Sentence 1, I'll give you a minute to do sentence 1 and 2 to fix the misplaced modifiers. The misplaced part here is built in a classical style. The White House is constructed of Virginia sandstone, built in a classical style. From this text, we understand that the Virginia sandstone was built in a classical style, but it's not meant here to say this. Sentence 2, numerous trees grow on the White House property of historical interest. Here we understand that the White House property is of historical interest. What is meant here is are the trees, numerous trees. So who's ready? You can do number 1. Put your hand up, please, if you want to answer. We received answered from Ryan, Ali Gizi, Yassine, and Tadros at the first session. I hope that new people will answer this time. Guys, we have Yassine again. Kiara, okay, I'll take Kiara this time. Kiara, go ahead.
The White House built in a classical style.
The White House built in a classical style. So complete.
It is
Why don't you start or begin with this part? Put it at the beginning. Kiara, try. Put the part we talked about at the beginning and complete. Can you put it at the beginning? Built in a classical style, comma, the White House.
The White House is constructed of Virginia
sandstone, right?
Yes.
So what's built in a classical style is the White House, not Virginia sandstone. Again, the answer, guys, built in a classical style, comma, The White House is constructed of Virginia sandstone. Thank you, Kiara. Who can do number 2? Who can do number 2? I need another person. Who can do number 2? Ganna Guda, can you do it? Ganna, can you do number 2? Exercise 40, page 501. Ganna, are you there? Taib, Yusuf Awad.
Yes.
Can you do it? Are you following up, Yusuf? Okay, go ahead. Numerous trees grow on the White House property of historical interest. Okay.
Numerous trees of historical interest grow on the White House.
Perfect. This is the model answer. Thank you very much. Numerous trees of historical interest grow on the White House property. Thank you, Yusuf. Now, guys, we have the rest of the exercise from 3 to 10. Please answer them on a sheet of paper and send them by email to me. I think you have my email, right? Do you have my email? Hello?
Sorry, again.
You have my email, guys?
No, I don't have.
It's on the weekly plan. You'll find it at the bottom of the weekly plans in SMS. ahmed@pis.edu.eg. ahmed.
Is there a homework?
Excuse me?
Of homework?
Yeah. Just complete exercise 40 from 3 to 10. Complete it on a sheet of paper and send it to me. Send it to me by email. You have the email at the bottom of the weekly plan. Go to the folder, weekly plan, open any file. You'll find my email at the bottom. ahmed@pis.edu.eg. Ahmed, you just need to remember my initial letter, Ibrahim, and my father's name is Ahmed. Ahmed. Okay? Let's move on to page 502. 502. Dangling modifiers. We have just a couple of lines. A dangling modifier seems to modify the wrong word. Why? Or no word at all, because the word it modifies is deleted, or no word at all because the word it should modify has been omitted from the sentence. As an example, a dangling modifier, shortly after his inauguration, President Kennedy's wife began refurbishing the White House. If you look at the first part, shortly after his here refers to a man. So the person mentioned here should be a man, not a woman. President Kennedy's wife began refurbishing the White House. You know, refurbish means to renew the furniture. Corrected. Shortly after President Kennedy's inauguration, here I talk about President Kennedy. I mentioned his name, okay? President Kennedy's inauguration. His wife began refurbishing the White House. Here it's clear. The second example, while touring the White House, I'm talking about a person because it's a person who tours the White House. Shoes must be worn. Here we could understand that the shoes are the ones who were touring the White House, and you know shoes don't tour on their own. So the answer should be, or the correct sentence should be like this: while touring the White House, visitors because they are the ones who tour, must wear shoes. A third example, importing French furniture. We don't know who imports this furniture. The White House was decorated. So we understand that the White House, the building itself, is the one who imported French furniture. And this is not true, of course. If importing French furniture, Thomas Jefferson decorated the White House? Because the person related to this part was omitted or deleted. We want to do exercise 41, the first and second sentences as usual, identifying and correcting dangling modifiers. If a sentence is correct, write correct. If it contains a dangling modifier, rewrite it to make it correct. While the sailors were rowing George Washington to his inauguration, White was worn. By whom, we are not sure. White was worn. Who wore this white? We're not sure. We need to make the sentence clearer than this. The second sentence, on the way to his inauguration, Washington's boat. From this, we understand that the boat was inaugurated, not Washington. Washington's boat took him up the Hudson River. Now, who can do number one? Sorry? Who can do number one, friends? Nobody? Hello? Okay. Listen, we can correct it this way. While rowing George Washington to his inauguration, the sailors